I don't know how to start this. What made you guys come up with the idea of hosting this event?
Okay, so this event actually wasn't my original idea. It actually was Shawty's first idea. So it dated back, I think, around early around this year.
Hmm.
And I heard about it. I've only heard about him because it was through friends of friends, and one of the people that were actually on the team at before it became, KR1 official team. Um, were part of it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I saw that underneath the tag had, hey, sponsorships. They're looking for sponsorships. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This is like a great idea. So I hopped in. And then afterwards, we just had talks after talks and realized that we have so many different cliques that work together.
Hmm.
And it was really fun to even talk to him about different ideas that I had and different ideas he had to share to me. So it became a mutual exchange and friendship that came to be, and this is how it then got labeled as a KR1 tournament. Originally, it was Shotty's tournament. It was all under his belt.
It all started by an idea on like creating an agency at first.
Mm.
I was saying this last class. Would it be amazing if there's like a creative agency and Laz was like, yeah, it's actually amazing. And long story short, like after we had that convo, we actually seek the agency term as something that might be like promising and whatsoever. Um and then Shadi and then we kind of like share our idea to Shadi and yeah, we just improvise from that and we at first we didn't even like have a plan on like making an event for the KR1 dance tournament event.
Mm.
We first thought that, oh, we're just gonna make like a Discord server and that's it. But um looking at Shadi, Shadi has like a brilliant idea, why don't we make like an event? At that time we still don't know what kind of event, right? So
Mm.
we keep brainstorming and yeah, dance tournament it is.
I thought of this event back in October that
Mm.
I really wanted to do this. I wanted to do a big thing that no one has done before, and I wanted to do it. But back then, I was missing two things, two key components to be able to do something like this:
What was that?
fame and money.
Fair enough.
But going back a couple months, back to December, when this idea wasn't even a thing, it's just passion, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like I have a headset on because this is my hobby. No matter how hard you work, at the end of the day, this is our hobby.
Yeah. You said you wanted to create something new. What was so new that you wanted to deliver with this event?
The breaking down of walls.
Okay.
That was the main thing. In this tournament, we proved something. A lot of people may overlook this, but here you have the creators supporting a venture, the creator community coming in. There you have the 18 plus lap dance community coming in. Then you have a scene that no one even knew existed, the particle scene coming in.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the normies coming in, the everyday VR chat player, going on the streams. All these communities in one room. That was more than what I could ask for.
Mm.
Seeing all that groups in one room, I want to see that same room again on multiple events. Why not just one? Two, three, four. Make this a daily thing, or like a weekly thing even. Seeing all these communities like just bridge in together. Why are we separated?
Mm.
It doesn't make any sense why we're separated.
Yeah.
There is a wall. There's an invisible wall between each community, and no one wants to cross it. No one wants to cross it. They want to sit in their communities. Completely up to them, right? But there are some people within that community that want to cross it. And if someone's not there to break down that wall, it's never going to be broken.
Yeah.
We want to make something new. We want to basically create like a difference in terms of like creative contents, I would say. Like and I think like starting off by by dance tournament could be a
A
good
good way to go. Yeah.
like a good way to start. Mhm.
It was a good way to start. You guys made a very big impression. Everyone's talking about you.
Mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
that's a
mhm.
really hard thing to do when you want to start somewhere, you know?
We just want to show people that we are here to create something
Hmm.
for the VR chat community, and we want to show like basically everyone that we can create something, and we want to encourage people as well to like create stuff more
Yeah.
in on their contents.
Is it like don't be afraid to go out and do something just like we do? Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
There have been things being said around about the tournament, but we can start off a little bit light saying when it comes to optimizing, because there was a lot of people having issues with regards to frames and everything. Do you think there is a possible way of optimizing the world a little bit more to host such big events?
Yes, they actually are in the midst of doing that right now. So, with the world of how big it is, we were actually surprised that it was capped at 80, even though that world has the possibility to host at least 120. Now, when it came down to frames and performance, the optimization menu was there for the first place to tell people, like, hey, if you want to enjoy a good time and you don't want to crash, make sure you go to the optimization menu and toggle everything off. So we follow a very similar pathway to certain groups that are more performance heavy. And even though it wasn't properly reinforced because every single staff was, in the midst of running a lot of things at that time, optimization is coming and it is in its way.
We have the spawn, the lobby, the gallery room, the security room, the office room, the elevators, real-time elevators, the hallway to the lobby, to the event hall. But in the event hall, we have the stage elevator section and a dancer room. All of this is part of one world.
Mm.
And we have made it so the batches that you have in the event hall is 600. That's insanely optimized for that world. If you don't know what batches are, a very optimized world would have a batch from about 100 to 300. And I'm talking like Black Cat. A world of this scale to have 6 to 700, that is amazing. And if you really want toggles, you can, the event hall, the way we have the scripting, the way it works, is we have something called safety teleports. What that means is the minute you go from the lobby to the event hall, the entire world is toggled off, so you're not even rendering it. You're only rendering the event hall.
Okay.
That's insane. Going back up, you're no longer rendering the event hall. That doesn't even exist. But to make it better, the optimization menu toggles the entire hall off if you really wanted to. If you're really bad on specs, you toggle the entire hall off, and the only thing left is the stage chairs and the mesh of the box. If you really wanted frames. I have a 2070 Super. I haven't upgraded in a while. I don't even know why.
Mm.
I had quite a few people shown because almost everybody was friends with me. I was getting 25 to 30.
But the real question is from everyone is about the
Mhm.
world is that was this all a PR stunt to get the world big?
From a yes or no question, yes, that is the case.
I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that.
In order for people to, one, get engaged, two, create interest, and three, of course, we are always open to feedback. To get that feedback is one to poll and act like this.
Think of it this way. We spent 4 or 5 months planning this, and I put all my money into this. Why can't it be a PR stunt for me?
It kicks up the dust. For me personally, of how I see things, even though a lot of it was pre planned before I came on board, was that in the midst of kicking the dust, we actually get to see what is there. What is there to see? What is there to learn from? What is there that we can even bring others onto the platform? Because right now, up after the tournament, as that being a quote unquote PR stunt, we're actually creating other steps so other people that may have been less spoken of or less heard of can come onto stage and have a say.
I'll be flat out with this. You don't mind? I don't mind you putting this as well.
Okay.
The only person that has lost something is me. Everyone gained something. I'm the only one. People, I don't know if this is public yet, but you know how much I've spent in this tournament.
Yeah, I have.
I spent almost 8,500 Canadian. That's like 6.6 something USD
Jesus.
on just this one tournament. Am I gonna get $7,000 back? No, it's gone. What's more important, fame or money? Money.
Kicking up the dust to unsettle things, creating space in uncharted territory, and framing that to support more of the community.
Yeah.
That's the entire process.
What I wanted to say was, do you feel like it was such a big leap or like a risk to take because some people feel like because this was like a pure stunt to, like branch out, get your name big, fair enough, Some people feel like this shouldn't have to be a PR stunt because everyone deserves a right with a following or without a following to do what they want to do. And now that they know that this was all a plan, some people are feeling like it's not worth it. The risk wasn't worth it. Why couldn't you guys be honest in a way?
For me, right now, it doesn't feel worth it. As of right now. But things like this, you don't get immediate returns.
Mm. But what makes it feel like
It
it
takes
wasn't
time to
worth it
build.
though? For you, who you are.
Um, the negativity, I think.
Yeah.
For me, on a personal level, outside of being one of the Carol founders, is that I do understand. I definitely do understand that. Hey, for from like a different perspective of being smaller, it doesn't make sense. It definitely doesn't make sense. It seems like maybe, the larger creators are getting a higher platform or the larger creator is getting more of a boost. Why does that boost not come down to me? Or why does not boost not get exposed to, myself or my friends who may have not been as well known in the market or are just starting out? But again, as it being a quote unquote PR stunt, it's in a way to create that uncharted territory. Because right now, of how I see things in the market, is that it is still at its infancy stage, but people are either still creating certain patterns of trends and not really stepping outside of that.
It's like someone went out of their way to plan all of this, put in this money, put in the time to give you a viewing show, just for you to go enjoy like a couple hours, just watch a whole thing, right? And you like even if you're as a guest, even if you're there as a streamer, even if you're there as a judge, even if you're there as a participant or a performer, sorry, They gained some sort of publicity. Sure, I got the most, but no one invested anything.
Mm.
You just got something out of it in 0 investment. Is that a win? That is a win in my book.
Mm.
So, from an outsider's point of view, if a person comes into VRChat and they see, people's names of larger creators and people well known in the industry, it creates an interest of like, wow, so this is maybe the beginning, but there are multiple steps afterwards if you're interested to dig even further.
Mm.
So it's like, for someone who doesn't play VRChat at all, they get one, a taste, two, if they're interested, and that is where the expansion comes into play.
Your name got out there through someone else's planning with 0 investment. As a financial standpoint, for everybody in that room or whoever sponsored whatever, they got a win. Put me on that stage. Did I win? But do I know that I won? No. There's no winning. I don't know whether this was worth it, but I believe it was. What I wanted, I achieved. That was the whole purpose behind the spending.
Another question or a thing that has been discussed recently, the hype around the event was huge. And some people believe that the reason why people can or were disappointed with the event was because the hype was so big that it didn't live up to its name. How do you feel about the public's opinion about that?
The only thing is that, like, no one has done this before at all. I don't think that it's...
In which case, what hasn't been done before?
Mhm.
Like the dancing or the sponsorships
Not the dancing,
or the world?
not the sponsorships. It's the fact that it hasn't been on this scale. So, in the midst of all the planning, in the midst of everything that's being run, I will say that the core founders, the teams, the officials, those who we do actively seek out for help, is there were many factors that were out of our control. Many factors out of our control.
Could
What
you
we
state one
thought
of the
was going to be a 2 to
factors?
3 hour stream. Of course. Well, the factors is, people having those performance spikes, even though we've done that stress test in the past.
Mm.
That was one thing that we didn't expect. The second thing were that we noticed that there were certain people that weren't behaving in a way that really represents what KR1 is.
What did they do specifically?
So it's more so of code of conduct.
Etiquette.
Yeah, etiquette, social etiquette. Because we have spoken to them before the tournament. We have spoken to them to make sure that, hey, if you're here, it is not just about benefiting yourself, but also there to make sure that everyone has a good time.
I would say that's a personal opinion. I could like a dancer, but you might not like him.
Mm.
So if you take a squad run of 100, and that's your player base that you're testing off these questions from, 70 of them could hate him, but the remaining 30 could like him. But all the performers that was on those stage were selected due to 2 selection process. 1, out of all the performers that applied, ones that applied but did not submit any dancer footage got removed automatically.
That's fair
Because
enough.
I don't know how
you don't know how you dance.
If you don't know how you're dancing, how are we going to select you?
Yeah.
Right? That automatically got removed. And from the ones that stayed, it was the top 50. And we just compared who was better.
outside of the tournament, like there's a there's a there were so many things out of our control that was beyond what we can even imagine. And if I were to openly say this, is that if anyone wants to try redoing or try to recreate the event, be my guest. Be my guest. And I'll openly say so because the amount of things I've seen myself, the amount of talks that we've had, the amount of deep conversations that were held between the officials, because everyone was very uncertain. It is not just you guys in the community that are uncertain. We're all very uncertain because we haven't done this at all. We've never done anything like this at all.
It's like
We've never
jumping
been in
into
a
the
room
deep end.
where, yes, we were all jumping into the deep end. This is uncharted territory. This is a place that no one has really done so openly. No one has openly showed their faults. And we did that. And yet, to some extent, for me personally, I think it's almost unfair.
The hype that wasn't there, like, the views exceeded all my expectations from everybody's streams. The feedback that I got, positive feedback after the tournament, was, oh my goodness, it was flooded. Like, the amount of things people said, oh my god. They were they were shocked to see people didn't even know people could dance like this in VR.
Yeah.
That's what all the majority of the viewer base that were watching this didn't know people could dance like this in VR. That's the majority of this player base. They don't know this. And for them to come here and see it for the first time through the streams blew my mind away. And I was super happy with it. That these performers were able to like somehow shine the light on the people who didn't know this existed and actually prove to them that, yeah, we're dancing with the headset on.
Yeah, this is our community. Look, this is what we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is our community. This is what we do. We are performers. Like that. They gave that message.
Yeah. Very well
It
as well.
was perfect. It was honestly perfect.
What can we say, right? We only learn from the audience, we learn from the feedback. When we kick up dust, of course that is our responsibility. To see what can be done, what can be improved. Because if a place is stagnant and it's been there like that for so long, how's their life? How's there going to be life if no one is willing to make a mistake? We did that. We made that mistake.
We can improve on the mistake, you know? This is why the audience is here for that. If you choose to, you know, carry on and do what you want to do, which I do support. I like to see growth. I like to see improvement. I like to see the way I see how people communicate with an audience is by listening to them. And if you listen to their feedback and improve on that, and you show that you've improved on that, and it turns out to be a success, you gain the respect of the people back, and then you gain much more than you've actually, expected.
Ironically, just before when I came into this room, I got pulled aside to even hear more from the TikTok community on what they experienced in the stream and what they saw, the behaviors that they witnessed from the streamers, the behavior they witnessed from the crowd, the judges, the audience, the dancers. They've seen everything. And we make note of it, but we don't openly show it because a lot of what we do, we prove it by action.
When it comes to the dance bracket, that's another major thing that loads of people are talking about. They're saying it's not fair to put a lap dance category with a freestyle hip hop category because it's more impressive for the hip hop category to, you know, it's people saying it's more biased because, you know, freestyle is already like doing stuff on top of the head, which is more impressive instead of choreography, and like there's only so much you can do when it comes to lap dancing. And when it comes to lap dancing, people are saying it's a other person experience that you're dancing on instead of like a audience kind of thing because it's more intimate. So they say it's unfair to put one category with another.
First of all, I see dance as a form as I see dance in general like as a form of art. Like people show their beauty, their inner basically passion and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
throughout like movements, a certain movement which is dancing. And each people has like different way to express themselves, right?
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, I think like fair. Mm, I think it's fair, because like it's just like how we express ourselves.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
each dance style
yeah,
deserves,
yeah,
recognition and the feelings that they put out, no matter how they move. Yeah.
how they move and stuff.
The whole categorization, that is something we're definitely going to actively take steps to implement that in the future. And secondly, is the way how the marking criteria was made. It was a very long process to even have the marking criteria started from scratch.
I was on the brink of removing lap dance entirely from the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be completely honest, it was a hassle. It was a big hassle to bring all the streamers in to make sure they understand that there's lap dancing involved. I couldn't stream out to a larger audience, even if I could not, because lap dancing was involved. So I was on the brink of removing it, but when I stayed with it, when the tournament originally was planned with the judges, we then were like, we'll keep it, but how do we separate it?
Yeah.
How do we make it fair?
Yeah. And that's the difficult part.
Right?
Yeah.
Going back to a PR move, it is also, again, for everyone that is outside of the community or far away from our space to witness what type of dancing styles there are. And for lap dancers, one thing I will say is that moving forward, we have had multiple meetings. And with the lap dancer community in the dance style that is going against with others, um, we will be looking into trying to format it better. But at the same time, we have also made a recent move. That recent move is that we had openly put a mission statement. And in that mission statement includes the fact that from here onwards, all of our events, and we've taken into very huge consideration, it was a very tough choice to make. We will be taking our events in the future to be 13 plus. Reason being is because with the events to be streamable, we have to follow VRChat TOS. We have to follow Twitch Stream and many other stream platforms TOS. But in the meantime, with that tournament, before this move was being made, many people that I've heard outside of VRChat, when I showed them the footage, when I showed them that, hey, there's actually people that dance in VRChat. They wear trackers like me. They wear trackers like you, and they dance.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just blown away that, like, wow, you can actually, like, dance like this?
Yeah.
It's
That's for
more
the
so
new
of
people who don't really know
showcasing.
about VR chat is
Yeah.
what you're referencing to, because a lot of the opinions
Yes.
came from within the VR chat community that have seen this thing before and they got let down because they see, lap
Mhm.
dances and like other clubs and everything. So now that you explained that this is for the people who don't really know much about VR chat, makes a lot more sense.
We spend like almost a day or two trying to figure out how do we put up judging criteria and separate the two. Then we were like, okay, you know what? We will give people the option. You can choose whether you want to do lap or whether you want to do stage. That was the first option. That was the first point. After that, you were like, okay, how do we fix the points? We were like, this is getting trickier. So we separated the judging criteria for both the lap and stage. And when we did that, one specific thing changed. The sensual movements, which you gave 10 points for, was taken away from the stage judging criteria. But instead, the performance for the stage was increased another 10 points. That's how we separated lap and stage judging criteria. So
Okay.
lap still has everything else the same. Instead, they gain another factor for which are sensual movements.
Mm-hmm.
We're just playing with your lap.
Yeah, that
And
makes
instead, the
that's the most
stage
clever thing you could actually do when it comes to that. Yeah.
correct. And the stage performers, their thing is performance. So we upped another 10 points. So made it harder on them. And all of this information, again, has been on my site since the start date. And all the participants applying have seen it through and through when they were applying. If people still found it unfair, you had 3 months. You know, you had 3 months. It's not like it was just said like once and gone. It's been there for 3 whole months.
Mm.
Hasn't changed.
On a social point of view of the actual event, do you think it was really necessary to make it so luxurious? Or like, you know, when you have like beautiful models from another organization escort you to your seats and like, you know, have the photo booths and everything. And do you think it was a little bit too much, or from a social point of view? Because some people say it's like a bragging thing. Like, look at me, I made it into this event. I have to be of a certain class. I have to have a certain following. And I know it leads back to the PR stuff, but at the end of the day, does that really matter?
To a certain extent, yes. Because on a personal view, the experience you give someone is unforgettable. And if you give someone a great experience where they're treated as a VIP, where every person that came through, they get treated that experience, whether they think it's like, oh, it's still in game, it doesn't translate to IRL.
We just want to make our first impression good, and like you know, like this is us, and like you see like those like photo booth like at the spawn,
Mm-hmm.
like here one, here one, here one, and like there's like pictures of like me shouted as Destiny there. Um, because like we want people to know that yeah, this is here one. We're we're not we're trying to like be different.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to like
Be rememberable.
yeah, I mean
Remember my name. Yeah.
yeah, but we just want to like make a good impression.
And you did.
It's a memory. And maybe in your lifetime or in my lifetime, we may not be treated that way in real life, or we may not be able to come across a situation where we're treated with that level of with a level of hospitality.
Mm. Yeah.
And so it's like for me personally, if I were to say, for example, um, create an art piece, I don't just create an art piece for the sake of it. I talk, I create, I understand what the person is, I learn what they are, and I make sure that every single piece comes down to a T that they feel treated right.
Yeah.
And so that has translated to the way where people spawn in, I immediately talk to them, I immediately say hi, I immediately say that, run them through like, how things are, where things are, that they can have fun at the photo booth, they can go
But that's the
around, talk to
thing
people.
though. Does that luxurious part need to speak for the respect that you already give to the people, because that's what people already look for, is respect. You know, talking to the people, making them like, even though they're nervous, calming them down, asking if they're okay and stuff like that. Doesn't that speak louder than the planned stuff, like, you know, the seating and like all of that like luxurious stuff? Doesn't that speak more of a human to a human more than a, you could say, like a scripted human, because it's been planned already?
The only thing I would say is you can decipher that however you will.
Okay.
For me, when I speak to people in that room, when I spoke to the dancers, to the people that spawn in, that's the experience I give. But if people think that, you know, everything is too much or it's too luxurious, everyone has different tastes, and unfortunately, it's true that I can't satisfy everyone.
No, absolutely not. No, you cannot satisfy
And the team
everyone.
can't satisfy anyone.
Yeah, but it's only fair to give you guys a voice for your part of all of this. You know, give answers, why, how, when. It's only fair. That's why we're doing this. I know there was a certain criteria you guys were judging off of, but what really solidifies the fact that the judges weren't biased?
We can't really say that. Everyone's biased in their own accord. I'm biased. Like, even if you're a professional judge, you're still going to be biased to what you liked.
Do you think there was a
And the way I
category that you
countered
guys
that,
liked more than other because of your dance style or your judgment?
yes, there's one that all judges synchronized on. Song choice.
Okay.
We were all biased on that because song choice was a category that you could have got free 20 points on by just being original.
Okay.
And that was part of the judging criteria. That is one thing everybody was biased on.
There is a debate going around, though, that particle dancing isn't true dancing. It's just an addition to a performance instead of it actually being, you know, your movements.
That depends on the dancer themselves.
Because it was a criteria.
You can
You could get judged
you
on it.
can taint, yes, particles when particles and tracking were not counted as judging criteria.
Oh, they weren't. They
Doesn't
were
matter what
just.
flash they weren't.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter what flashy particles you have. We didn't care.
See, that clears up a lot of things, actually, because people are like, oh, they're judging on
No
particles
one
with
cared. That is
particles.
why.
Yeah, that makes so much sense then.
That is why Stark and Tex is there. No one knows particles better than they do. Stark being the owner of Terminus. Sorry, Stark being the owner of Terminus and Tex being the dance captain for Terminus and being the leader of the boys.
Mm.
They're very strict with particle performances. Very, very strict. I would say I'm very lenient. They're not like me whatsoever.
Mm.
Then I reached out to a couple others in club owners. Big club owners too. All of them declined.
Why is that?
They didn't want the pressure. Which
Fair
is
enough.
fair.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't want to be a judge because with judging comes a lot of pressure.
Mm.
And being club owners, it could hurt their communities if they did something wrong.
Yeah, I guess
See the
that's
lashback?
yeah, I guess they are
That's why.
What is it called? Their own category of dancing as well, and if they don't favor towards that, it'll disappoint the people in their own clubs and be like, oh, what the hell am I
Correct.
dancing
That's
for?
why
Why could it be
most club
dancing like
owners were
that?
not
Yeah.
part of the judging criteria for a certain category, which would then hurt their reputation and their clubs.
Yeah.
That is why they declined.
And the last question, which I even find absolutely ridiculous, is that you guys paid the dancers to dance for the event.
What? Wait, what?
Did you guys
Okay.
pay the dancers to dance at the tournament?
Ah,
I know it kind of sounds extreme,
God.
but
Oh
you know,
my
it's one
God,
of those
no.
things that we have to clear up.
If you want, I can actually send you the PDF of the breakdown of the amount of money that's being spent. Not a single cent went into the dancers.
no comment.
World cost, including commission, world asset commissions, 4,500. Media team, 480. Poster cost, 200. Prize cost, base stations and trackers, $520. Price cost of gift cards, 750. Other with personal domain advertisement and miscellaneous, 370. In total of all that spending, $6,820.
Oh my god, what in the world? No, of course not.
Yeah,
But like,
save the best for last.
I'm sorry, it was funny. It was just funny, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that speaks for itself. You don't even have to answer. We all know it's not true. Why would that just doesn't make sense, I know.
Why would I go through all this work just to rig the event at the end? For a first time event, I'm saying this with full confidence, it was a success. It was a huge success. But there were a lot of faults with it. It was a success with faults. But this goes to show that things like this are doable. People should start doing these things and events like these. Virtual reality is an experience. Why not give an experience inside another experience that you can experience for yourself? That is what Caravan is. You want to give that experience. Who knows? Next tournament we have another world that y'all can experience.